And heads up as we get into it, today's episode does contain graphic descriptions and explicit language. As such, it may not be appropriate for all audiences. From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. A production of iHeartRadio.
Hello, welcome back to the show. My name is Matt.
My name is Noel.
They call me Ben. We're joined as always with our super producer, Paul Mission Control Deckens. Most importantly, you are here, and that makes this the stuff they don't want you to know. Folks, longtime fellow conspiracy realists, you have heard us talk about the war on drugs, the controversy surrounding the U.S. justice system, and honestly, heck, hundreds, if not thousands, of other related conspiracies. Today, we are diving into this and much, much more with a very special guest, the legendary comedian, the author, the man, the myth, the legend, and now podcaster, Michael Colyar. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Michael.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
We got one immediately. Michael, we've been watching so much of your appearances, of just your life's work, sir. It exists on the internet, and it is incredible to just go through the years and years that you have been performing on stage and off stage. It is an honor. No, it's not that you're old, sir. It's that you know what you're doing and you've been doing it for a long time. So we just...
The word is prolific.
That's right. That's
the word.
Thank you. Yeah. I keep telling people on the shows that people keep calling me legend, but it's not because I've done anything particularly. It's just because I outlived all them other motherfuckers.
So okay, let's, for anyone who somehow doesn't know, Michael, you are a Chicago native. You became known as the king of Venice Beach for a brutal schedule. Could you tell us a little bit about 5 shows a day?
You know, that's my legacy is Venice Beach. I love Venice Beach. Venice Beach defined me as a man and as a human being because I spent 9 years doing comedy there from 86 to 95. I did 5 one-hour shows every Saturday and Sunday without fail, no matter what time of year it was. And people showed up. Sometimes they didn't, but we did them shows. And I did like 6 figures a year for 9 years, weekends only telling jokes. And everything else came from it as well. But, you know, it all started for me in Chicago because I was a comedian in little clubs and stuff, and my friends talked me into doing street performance. And I did it on State Street, and I made some really good money. And I became, before I knew it, like the best street performer in 85 in Chicago, just telling jokes and stuff. But then winter came and wasn't nobody trying to hit no damn joke on State Street in December. So I packed up everything that would fit in my 1967 Buick LeSabre. I sold everything else and I drove out to California. I didn't even know about Venice Beach, but I knew California had a lot of beaches and I thought that it was hot here all year round. Not, okay, it was cold as shit. In fact, it was February, and I'd gone up to San Francisco to do Fisherman's Wharf. There were seals in the water. That's how cold it was, seals. But I was out there street performing because that's all I knew and that's all I had, and everything I owned was in the car. So I was standing on that boardwalk and tell jokes, and about a month in, I passed out on the boardwalk. And I got up and drove myself to the hospital. And they said, you caught stomach flu out there, brother. You need to go somewhere where it's warmer. And by then, my wife told me, you got to come to this place called Venice Beach, you know, and the rest is history, man. I loved Venice Beach. I still love it. And we're going back out this summer and shooting a 1-hour special on the spot where I started. So it's going to be pretty amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah. We were all just out there in that neck of the woods, and we were staying in, Manhattan Beach, which I think Ben pointed out feels a little Stepford Wives-y. It's a little, it's got a little bit of less of that kind of psychedelic, cool hippie energy that Venice Beach has. But there is something electric about Venice Beach where you have like, you know, the dancers, kind of b-boys and stuff, and that's now. I can't imagine what it was like then. What was it like then?
Yes, well, you know, I call it then and now the eternal circus. I mean, it's always something going on. When I was out there, there was Robert Gruenberg. He's the chainsaw juggler. This guy would throw a running chainsaw in the air and catch it with an apple and with a raw egg. And without breaking the egg. And while he's throwing the 3 of them in the air, he's biting the apple and eating the apple. And he was doing that on the beach and he made good money too. he had left and went and got himself a dealership, a used car dealership. But the IRS was watching him on Venice Beach, and they guesstimated how much money he made and took him to court. He had to spend $40,000 to keep from going to jail, because they were coming out looking at your money and going $1, $4, $7, $8,
Let's get into that. Let's get into so as you know, this stuff they want you to know, we like to leave no question unasked. We apply critical thinking to things that are sometimes dismissed as conspiracies. And one thing people always talk about in the world of conspiracies around this time of year, around April in the U.S., is Uncle Sam and the IRS.
Bastard! Oh, my God. He got me bent over a barrel right now. I tell you, I just brought new money people on the team just to get me out of some of my tax trouble, because I ain't trying to do the Wesley Snipes thing. I don't do well in jail. I'm too cute for jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to be somebody's wife right away. Okay, so we ain't doing jail. We ain't doing jail.
It might take them a minute, but they're going to catch up to you. Like Wesley Snipes, case in point, or whatever. And especially if you're high profile. But we're talking about people that normally we'd consider as being super under the radar, like street performers. And you're talking about somebody planted in the crowd making notes about income coming from street performers.
Is that a rumor, Michael, or was that true? Do you think somebody was actually there watching?
No, that's true. That's what they would do. They would come out and they would have guys sit in the audience like they're just enjoying the show, but they sit there and watch and see how many people throw money in the hat, and they see if it's 5s or 10s, whatever, and then they guesstimate how much they think you got, and then they charge you based on that. And of course, we ain't got no receipts. We street performers. We got what they put in the bag, Like Uncle Sam need a couple more dollars. Fuck out of here.
Well, that's the thing. No, this is great. This is the thing. It's actually kind of rare for us to hear about a real conspiracy that's totally unfamiliar. And I don't know about the guys, but I had never heard this one.
No, but it makes perfect sense. They do a lot of volume people, they're just constant crowds, and they have a system, and they're working it to get every dollar out. It's a hustle, and it's a thing to behold when people are doing it right. You know what I mean?
It is.
I've got I don't know if you heard this one. We were able to confirm this, thought this was a rumor growing up, but the IRS apparently doesn't care if you commit crimes. It's not their department. If you're out selling drugs, in theory, they just want to know how much money you made, and they want their cut.
Yeah, they want their part. I mean, it's the same thing with now we have marijuana that you could purchase everywhere because the government finally figured out how to tax it. So it's not about right or wrong. It's like, how much is in it for me? Where's my part? Uncle Sam, I want to, where's my part? And they owe me, but my mama said, give them $1 now and $1 when they catch you. So we do the best we can.
And isn't that interesting with what you're talking about marijuana prohibition? Like and to what you said, Ben, the IRS, they're not there to prosecute crimes, and they're technically kind of an apolitical organization in theory, but whether or not they could tax marijuana was a political issue, not one that they controlled necessarily, but it had to be kind of legalized and regulated on a state by state level. And that's not where the IRS comes in. They come in to figure out how to collect the money once it's made legal. So that's super interesting. And like for a time, there were places where, in California, if you go to a dispensary, they'd give you your change back in cash because the banks wouldn't mess with them yet.
Oh, let me tell you, the IRS will go in and take your money too. If you leave your money in the bank, you at risk. I had one check. I did a
garnishing
show
wages, whatever. Yeah.
I did a movie with Ice Cube called The Long Shots with Keke Palmer was in it as well. She was 14 years old and just absolutely brilliant. And we did that, and I had a check. I think it was supposed to be $3,700. And I went to the office to get the check. That check was $1.49, and Uncle Sam had left me a note. I was like, what? Jesus. This can't be right. Yeah, they said you owe
was it a politely worded note?
Yeah, what the note say?
It was just said that we are taking this portion of your check because of back taxes. And just
I don't think you could call that a portion.
They
left you $1.
Almost all of. They left me enough to get a Snickers. Now that's the small Snickers. That's not the one that you have in the theater. No, that's the little bit.
The fun size they call it. Yeah.
Why do you call it fun size when there's less of it? Whatever. I have problems.
Because it's cute. It's cute. Fun. Whatever.
Yeah. Do you mind if we stay on movies for just one moment? There's so much to talk about here with you, Michael. But I want to throw something at you and see what your reaction is. Okay, this is the first time I ever saw you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
When you said this, Williams, ComSync pack RAM set MOS 92 HTAC off-spec paddywhack.
That's Hot Shots Part 2.
Yes, it is.
Let me tell you
Is it
something.
paddywhack?
Yeah.
Knick-knack,
Knick-knack, paddywhack.
Wait, what about
Just
when we
good,
get to the fence? And it's a fence you can step over, but it's locked. Damn it, it's locked. I'm panicking. Get a hold of yourself, man. Blow it. You know what I mean? It was, that movie was amazing. Let me tell you, I bought my first home with that. I did 26 weeks shooting that film, and it is one of the gifts of Venice Beach. I got so much work from being on Venice Beach because Venice Beach is the second largest attraction in California, second only to Disneyland. So everybody comes to Venice, they take their people down to Venice Beach. If somebody come in California, we got to take you to Venice Beach. So I
Scouting for talent, though, too, internally. LA people, I'm sure, going there looking for the next big thing.
Exactly.
Maybe,
They're
right?
shopping for talent out there. Look, I brought a girl on my morning show. I have a morning show, guys, that I do 5 days a week. It's called the Michael Colyar Morning Show on YouTube. So I was out there this past Sunday, and this little white girl, I didn't even see her. I just heard Fleetwood Mac, the album from Fleetwood Mac. And I was like, that is so good. Who's playing that? I turned, it's this little white girl. And hold up, this little white girl was singing so pure, I brought her and put her on my morning show Monday. She blew the roof off the sucker. I said, when you singing these covers, do you have original? She said, I'm about to drop my original album. She came back on Wednesday, blew the roof off the sucker with original, so she'll be on my show, well, coming up, because I'm about to celebrate our 600th show. She's going to be on that one, too. Venice Beach is the eternal circus. You got artists out there. It used to be a time you can get a slice of pizza for $1. Probably costs $2 now. You know, you got girls walking around in bikinis, barely clad. It's all kind of objects and things you can buy. You can go out there with $20 and have a good afternoon, as long as you don't have to pay for parking. You're going to have
It's
a good
just good
afternoon.
people watching, man. It's amazing.
Just the
It's
people
like a
watching.
parade, you know.
And
It's
then there's the drum
Muscle
circle.
Beach, all that stuff. Yeah,
Muscle Beach,
man.
and the Sundowners, where a whole bunch of people stick around from 6:30 to about 7 and watch the sun literally go down and behind the ocean. You know, so it's a lot of wonderful stuff going on. When I got out there, they weren't making money, so I was teaching a lot of them how to get their money, because they had the guy who would walk on glass, Uber. This guy would break fresh glass, a pile of glass. He'd jump off a chair into the glass with no shoes on. Then he pooched the glass back up, so it's a mountain of glass. He'd lay on it with no shirt. A lady would stand on his chest. A man would stand on his thighs, and he'd smoke a cigarette. Then he'd get up, wouldn't have a scratch on him. The boy was making like $40 a day. I said, no, you ain't doing this right.
That's worth
We're going to have to work on that part, because you got to get your money. Plus, one of his big things he was doing is he wouldn't collect his money till after his last piece. You can't do that. You can't do your last bit until you get the money. Your last bit has to be the hook. You know, you got to tell them, I got something. Whoa, I'm about to kill y'all with this. But I got to get my money first, okay? Don't play, you know, and then you get your cash. Then you do the last bit. So I was showing them out there how to get money. I have a money grabber. I know we're not visual, but y'all can see this.
We can.
I had a money grabber. I could take this grabber and reach out and get your dollar. Give me that dollar. Give me that dollar. So
y'all at home, picture like a He-Man or like a Transformers robot claw.
Pincher arm. And people buy these
yeah.
things to reach for stuff up on the cabinet and stuff like that. I was grabbing.
Yeah, but
money.
yours is the one that the kids use. That's not even like the real one for the you know what I mean? That's the one. That's the you right there.
This is the joy.
That's amazing.
And so
I have one of these. Also, this is on, by the way, for anybody who happens to be by the Venice Boardwalk, you can find Michael's shoe and handprints there, as well as an impression, I believe, of that money grabber.
That money grabber, yeah, to commemorate what I did when I was out there, because, man, we made it. And see, here's what I was telling you earlier, too. I got a lot of work from there. I got Hot Shots Part 2 from there. I got Martin. I became a regular on Martin from there, because everybody comes to Venice. And then they would come, and I'd have the biggest crowd. So they work their way in, and then they see, here's a guy with 200 to 400 people standing still in the sun for an hour and then happy to pay.
But are people taking advantage of folks like that? in Hollywood. You think of so much kind of crooked, I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to pay you more than you're making on the boardwalk, but probably underpaying the hell out of you. And also then maybe signing you to a exclusive contract and like kind of owning someone's life. Did you see any of that kind of stuff go down?
Yeah, people are doing that all the time. Talent is always in danger of the people who want to exploit them. So there's always folks out there but you need to be on your game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a trick ain't a trick if you know the trick. But if you don't know the trick, then the trick's on you. I was at one network that ran me out of there, and I couldn't figure out how I got out of there. How I thought I was doing so good. And my brother told me the story. He said, every evening as the sun went down, there was this little village, and a prince would come out to the edge of the river and walk across the river, and all the people would hide in the bushes and watch the prince walk across this river every evening. No one had the courage to approach him, and finally a little child, because children, they don't care, they'll just say some shit. A child just stepped out from behind the bush and says, "Tell me, sir, please tell me, what is the secret of walking across a river?" And he says, the secret, my child, is you got to know where the rocks are. Come on, somebody. I didn't know where the rocks were. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be on top of it. That's all. But yeah, people will exploit you, so you have to watch for that. If you're an artist, you have to watch for that. I've always done all my own stuff. Now I'm building a team, but I usually book myself. I manage myself. When I say God is my manager, that means I only got to pay 10%, and he answers every call. So sometimes doing it yourself is the way that works. But to go the furthest in this industry, you usually need people to help you just in the higher echelons, because about success, it's about access. See, that's what success about in this town. It's access. Who you know. Everything's about communications and relationships. Who do you know and how do you talk to the people you know will determine your altitude, how high you rise, So but the snakes are always in the grass. There's always the people there with a card and a gimmick all over LA. Everybody got a card and a gimmick,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the last time I visited LA without someone trying to sell me a screenplay, And hey, maybe they're good, but I respect the hustle because you're reminding me of that that excellent quote. It's very, very old. It's like thousands of years old. If you want to travel fast, go alone. If you want to travel far, go together. So what you're saying about having a team makes a lot of sense. And one thing we really wanted to pick your brain about today is the inner workings, getting under the hood of the world of entertainment, because you have, in addition to acting and honing your skills in the world of entertainment at large, you have been in the trenches. You've seen the stuff backstage that the audience never sees or understands. So do you have any, I guess you would call them conspiracies or theories in the world of entertainment and in the backstage? Because I know stuff probably gets wild. Like, what is something more people need to know about stand-up comedy, for instance?
Well, I think if you want to talk about what's going on in the back room, you just have to be careful because there's so many cliques. See, in Hollywood, everything is cliquey. Everybody in their group. You got to be in their group, or if you're not in their circle. It's so funny. It's so funny. I had a girlfriend, and I went to introduce her to a friend of mine, and she said, "Well, you can't just bring people in our circle. They got to be invited." And I was thinking about the job that she does for a living, and I was like, "Bitch, you got a circle? Ain't nobody trying to get in your fucking circle. Girl, ain't nobody trying to get in your circle. I was trying to introduce you to my friend." You know what I'm saying? So, but it's cliquey out here. It's like, if you're not in their group, certain people only work with that certain group of people. They ain't messing with nobody else. Now, some of that is conventional wisdom. If you're really trying to get your act together, you really want to circle yourself with 4 to 5 of your best or closest friends and associates, and keep everybody outside of that. That way, there's no damage to the team or the company, because you could trust that handful of people. The danger comes in when you start bringing in strangers or people you don't know who have different agendas and different ideas and can throw things off. So there is a sense of having a small group, but here in Hollywood, there's a thing about you have to be in people's their circle, their group. They have to give you their benediction. So if they say okay, then you could work. And I can't tell you how many times people have blocked me. I've been blocked tons of time from people who I thought were my friends. Some of the people are people that I brought up in this town and won't give me the time of day, but they'll respect me. The same people that won't work with me, if I walk in the room, they'll come across the room and shake my hand. Hey, brother, how you doing? But those same people won't book me. Yeah, just think about this. How many tours have you seen me on? All these top black comics, and I could stand toe-to-toe with any comic in America, white or black, and I could do an hour 40, shouty, easy, with continuous laughter. Not I tell a joke, then I walk around talking shit for 8 minutes, then I tell a joke. I'm talking about bam, 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 hour 40, easy, without even thinking about it. And you'll never see me on these tours with all these top comics. You see the same ones going out all the time, but you don't see me. I've been doing this now 37 years. I'm thinking about sticking with it.
Is that because you speak out of school? Is that because people think that you're, I don't know. There's what is it about?
I don't know.
You that rub them the wrong way.
I don't have an idea, and that's the worst part of it, is their cowardice. The people who don't work with you will never tell you why. They don't say nothing to you about it. Just all of a sudden you ain't getting that call. All of a sudden you ain't getting called in on that. Some things people call me in for, and I don't even go because I know which team that is. And they're not gonna hire me if I come in and take my clothes off, set myself on fire, So you have to know who you're working with and who's not. But that's why I'm all down for self-reliance. Do your own thing. That's why street performance was so important to me. I ain't gotta kiss nobody's ass to walk on Venice Beach and tell a joke. I couldn't even get in the clubs until I did Venice Beach. When I first came here in 86, Laugh Factory was the only one let me come in. Laugh Factory was about the size of my dining room in 86. They didn't even own the upstairs yet. They just had the main level. And in 86, I was there. They let me come in on a Thursday and do 5 minutes for free. That was it. Comedy Store wouldn't let me in, improv, none of them. So I went to Venice Beach. And I was holding the biggest crowds in Venice Beach. And one day, Bud Friedman, who created the improv and owned all the improv, and rest his heart, rest his soul. We only lost him about 3 months ago. I love that man. Bud Friedman and his wife, Alex, saw me out there. And they said, I'd like you to become part of our family. I mean, he didn't just invite me to come and tell a joke. He made me part of the improv family. So all of a sudden I was doing that show on A&E called Evenings at the Improv. I did like 11 of those. I was doing all the improv clubs because someone saw me who had a way to give me access. And they allowed me to have that, All
right, hold up a second. Let's take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more from Michael.
We're back. Let's get into it.
It's interesting with podcasting and YouTube, which is obviously a place you found success in now too. That's kind of like the street performing of the internet in some ways. It's sort of democratized by people that kind of form around you, and it's unconnected to any clicks. Obviously, there are podcast networks and YouTube networks and all that, but at the end of the day, the impetus is on you to do your thing and then see what happens. And I'm just interested if you see that parallel and how that's worked out for you.
I do see that parallel, and people have been telling me for years, Michael, you'd be so good on podcast. You'd be on podcast. And I never knew how to do it. And now I'm able to do it, and I'm having the time of my life doing it. I'm having great conversations with people. But once again, it was also about the access. It was because iHeart believed in me and gave me this opportunity that I'm able to do this podcast. I would never on my own just said, okay, I'm just going to set this up in my house, do a podcast, and put it wherever I want to. No, I wanted to be with some of the top folks that I'm going to podcast. I mean, all I want to do is beat Bill Burr. If I could just, if I could just
have him on your show. Have him on Michael Talks to Errbody.
I would love to have him on my show. And he knows me. He knows me too, because I called him. Some other people had me come in for a podcast for their company. I came in to meet them, and they weren't interested. And I was like, okay, fine, but at least I got a chance to come say hello to them. But when I went in, I called Joe Rogan. I said, Joe, what I do when I go on this interview? He said, man, just go in and be you. And at the end of the day, he said, you don't need nobody else anyway. You could do it on your own. And I thought that's cool, and that's a great idea, but I'm a lazy lima bean, and I wasn't about to do it on my own. And plus, I'm on 7 projects already. So I'm like, how do I figure out how to podcast? How do I do it right? How do I compete? All those thoughts. But I have like 2 of the greatest attorneys in the world, and Ricky Anderson is the one who put the deal together for me. And he has several clients as well. And he was shopping for me, man. The other people came to me somebody's got a free radio. Some radio, but they had offered me to come over there, but they don't offer no money. Well, shit, if I ain't gonna make no money, I can make no money at my damn house. Why I gotta come to your shit to not make money, you know? And so the thing is, I think being self-sufficient is important in entertainment. You should do stuff that you could pay yourself. See, I'm on stage every night saying, can you tell that I love what I do? Now, keep in mind, I'm an addict, okay? I'm a crackhead. So I did crack for 23 years. And as of this March 1st, I have 12 years of pure sobriety. So I've been here doing comedy, film, and everything fucked up. You hear me? I was ripped. But nobody knew it. I never went to work high, no shit like that. I never did that. But during that reign of being high, I did so many shows and so many films and nobody even knew it, but my system knew it. The universe knew it. So I wasn't able to travel at the speed of light like I could have if I stayed clear-eyed and focused and stayed on my work. I started with the Steve Harveys and them. I started with Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley. Them cats used to look up to me. All them guys are rich enough to pee cream. And me, I'm still a day player, but that's okay. I'm happy with it because I own myself. You know what I'm saying? I own Michael motherfucking Colyar. All this is mine. I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't do no harm to nobody on purpose. All I do is perform, but I'm performing everywhere. I'm killing the game, you know? And the thing is, I ain't beholden to nobody. I don't have to go to none of those cats and say, man, I made it because of you. Yeah, because y'all ain't brought me. I brought me and I'm keep on bringing me, you know? And that's why I want to send that message to other people because there's a lot of people who turn around and walk away if they don't get enough assistance. You know, if somebody don't help them, you know? You don't need, look, everything you need to do whatever you want to do on this planet is encoded within you. You already have all the answers. It's just a matter of you having the courage to go inside, to find that thing, and then work towards it a little bit every day. I always talk about a system called the 15-minute-a-day system. If you're willing to spend 15 minutes a day on something you really want, and within 3 to 6 months, you'll have it. 15 minutes a day. And I'm just talking about Monday and Friday. Monday to Friday. You can take Saturday and Sunday off. 24 hours in a day. If you spend 15 hours, if you weigh 900 pounds and you want to be a ballerina, do 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day on that topic. You may be spend 15 minutes looking at plus size women dance. You may spend 15 minutes at a bar in your house trying to do a dance bar. You may be doing the 5 steps, practicing them and talking about it. And talking about it because see, the universe, once it knows you commit to anything, it opens doors that you didn't even know were there. So what happens? Now, everybody you talk to, you tell them, I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to be a ballerina. 15 minutes a day, you working on it. You might spend 15 minutes a day just watching other ballerinas. But I guarantee you, by that 3rd month, you would have done so many things towards it and generated so much energy, your phone gonna ring. You're gonna pick the phone up. Hey, Charlotte, we're putting together a concert with plus size women, and we heard that you were trying to get in the game. And you'll be like, holy shit, how did that happen to me? It happened to you because it happened for you. And it happened for you because you worked towards it. 15 minutes towards it every day. I swear you'll look up and
through
see
you.
Yeah, it happened.
Well, yeah, you're a
through
conduit for it. You put, I think we've all seen elements of that. I just wanted to ask really quickly about the addiction side of things. I mean, was that something that you felt like? I mean, I know that may have happened before. I don't know. It seems maybe that was all kind of coinciding. But was that something that you used to be able to just be on always, go, or were they separate? And then how were you able to get rid of that? How were you able to replace that energy that you were spending on that, which it makes you feel like you have energy, but it's actually sapping you of energy. So how did you kind of reconcile all those things?
That was the truest part of all of it. When you said it's actually sapping energy, you actually think you're getting something. You think you're going somewhere, and it's really draining you. I'm doing a one-man play in 100 cities called Michael Colyar's Mama. If you like your mama, you're going to love this play. And the play is an hour-and-a-half play, and I play 17 characters. So I play my mother and my father and my 4 big brothers and me at 4 ages, the alcoholics, crackheads, and church ladies that run my community. And I get to tell that story about the addiction. But I got into addiction. I got into drugs because it was just fun. But I've always been responsible when it comes to work. So I never went to work high. I would never go on a stage high. I wouldn't do none of that. I respect what it is I do. But like I was about to say earlier, I tell people on stage that if our job is to train the universe to pay us to do what we love to do. See, because if you're just doing what you love to do, I swear, the Bible says that your gift will make a way for you. So if you're just doing what you love to do with all your heart and all your passion, all the elements you need for it to succeed will come to your door. It will walk up to you. You won't even have to go look for it. So in doing this play, I talk about all of it. The addiction for me is I was just partying, man. I used to do freebase before they even knew of a thing called crack. I used to sell freebase in Chicago, and then that made me want to taste cocaine. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But then I wasn't really messing with it till I got to Venice. Now I got to Venice, and so many people on Venice was getting high. I started trying to get high, and I enjoyed it. You know, I had a lot of money, and I didn't owe nobody nothing. It was Robin Williams who said, cocaine is God's way of saying, you making too much goddamn money, you know? And so I had all this money. I leave Venice Beach with a sack of money. I ain't owe nobody nothing. And one day I said, I wonder if I take this rock and I drop it on this hot piece of glass, what'll happen? Okay, and then 23 years later, my ass trying to dig my way out the hole. Now, parts of me say that maybe that's why I'm penalized. Maybe some of the people who don't work with me have in the back of their mind, well, he's a crackhead or he was a crackhead, or maybe during my crackhead days, people may have found me arrogant. I probably said things that I shouldn't have said the way I said them or whatever. I don't know. I know one thing in my life, I've never deliberately gone out of my way to hurt anybody, to step on nobody. I won't step on you to get the job. I don't want the job so bad that I'm going to fuck you over so I can get an extra $5. I'm just not going to do that. I've just been living my life the way I want to live it, unfolding into my greater self. And I don't always get it right. Sometimes I fuck it up. But I was loving some
Michael,
crack.
I want to talk about one of those tonight. I want to talk about one of those times. I saw a video not long ago. I don't know. It was years, I think, at this point. You were in Philadelphia. You were in a park, a public park. And you had a cigar.
Here you go. First of all, let me say the name Cigar Williams. Matter of fact, let me say this. Cigar Williams can kiss my ass. Let me just say that. He's my great friend in Philadelphia. His name is Cigar Williams. He takes me to buy me a cigar to smoke. And I should have knew some shit was up because he didn't get one for him. And we take the cigar. We light the cigar. We go back into the park. Rittenhouse Square in Philadelphia, which is the rich park. All the rich white people leave. There ain't no black people even in that park. You might see one every now and then, but it's always 6 or 8 police patrolling a damn park, okay, because they got money like that. So I'm sitting there smoking a cigar with my partner, and we see a cop harassing this young brother who has he's autistic, and he was handing the guy paper saying he's autistic, and the guy's writing him a ticket. So I'm standing with Cigar Williams. We laughing at the police. You know, he's a bicycle cop, you know what I'm saying? And this where he get all his power. He's sitting there writing a innocent person a ticket. Well, he saw us laughing at him and made a beeline over to me. He said, you can't smoke in this park. And I said, cool, I can put it out, or I can walk it out the park. He said, you put it out and give me your ID. So he take my ID, right? So while he's got my ID, he's taking 20 minutes to run my ID. You know that take no damn 20 minutes to run ID. That mean you run the man's background. He's trying to see if I got warrants. There's some way he can do more to me. Now backup then showed up. Another double meat-eating fat-ass cop that better have a pistol because he ain't gonna never catch nobody. Unless he better throw a stick at you, he can't catch you. So now here's Mutt and Jeff both toiling over writing a ticket for me smoking. So I held my phone up and filmed the whole thing on FaceTime Live, and I dogged him. I talked about him like a dog. I said, oh, man, he just a little upset because the requisition order went in for the pistols, but they won't come in until Thursday. You know what I mean? And the thing that made people love it, because 1.7 million people saw that. The thing that made people love it is I showed them how to deal with the police when they came to a black man wrong, but how to do it in a way that's respectful enough that he don't have to beat you up, shoot you in the ass, and tase you. You know, but some of us forget when the police show up that they're in charge. We forget that shit. Fuck you, pull me over for nah. Okay, now you're going to have to do the Rodney King dance. Okay, you can't do that. What you need to do is calm the fuck down when the police come. As long as I'm talking calmly, I'm not going off, I'm not reaching for something suddenly, they can't do shit to me but talk to me. And I talked about him. I talked about his ass so bad. Oh, Lord. Now, once I got through and he gave me my ticket, and while I'm talking to him and he's writing his ticket, a white guy walks through, brazenly smoking a cigarette. But now it's 30 people standing around watching this. So I point at him and I say, officer, look at the white guy smoking. He said, I'm too busy to look up. And he just kept writing. right? So, of course, I left and I didn't do what a lot of black people do. A lot of black people, we get mad. And we go talk about you motherfuckers behind your back. Yeah, we smoke a fat one. Man, them motherfuckers ain't shit. They did this, they did that. No, I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it white folk way. White folk report shit. They report to everybody. Do some shit to a little white lady. See what the fuck happened. She calling everybody in the community. She gonna talk to the alderman, the mayor, the chief of police. That's what I did. I went directly to the police station. I went right to the police station. I filed a report against that cop. I called the chief of police. We sent letters to chief of police, IAD, Internal Affairs. We wrote everybody. And on top of 1.7 million people being on top, wrote me a ticket for $100. You can't even see the sign in the park. We pointed out, you got to go find the sign that says no smoking. $100. They threw that ticket away and apologized, brother. That's what happened. And that's the power of entertainment. I know I ain't afraid when I talk to you. It's just another presentation. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I keep saying that if you're out here as an artist, try to be self-sufficient, because you don't want to be a slave to nobody. You don't want to be a slave to a record label, to a producer, to anybody. You want to own yourself. You know, and that's what I do. So when you ask the question, why is there so many folks, how many of those top guys I haven't worked with? Well, like I say, once again, everybody work with everybody. They all know each other. They drink together. They hang out together. So if one of them won't work with me, the other one won't. And I'm not saying that I'm on a black list, but I think it's a black list out there that my name is pretty high on. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all kind of folks of my hue who are doing all kind of things and ain't never brought me in. I can't audition for it or nothing. But look, be clear. I'm mentioning this because we're discussing it. I ain't complaining about it because I don't give a damn. I tell you right now, I don't give a fuck. You ain't got to hire my ass because God gave me Venice Beach. I know I can always go to the beach and make some motherfucking money. I ain't got to kiss nobody's ass to ever get. I know just anywhere. I can tell a joke anywhere. You know, so yeah.
There's so many things that I think we can unpack here, and I know that Noel, Matt, and I think we all have a bunch of questions, directions we want to go down here. So let me just give like a laundry list. One of the things we're going to have to get back to is the war on drugs, just in the micro and a macrocosmic scale. Before we do that, just as an opening to that door, Michael, I got to ask, this is something our audience always wants to hear whenever we have a guest of your caliber on the show. Are there any quote unquote conspiracy theories that you believe? And if so, which ones? We're talking like JFK,
you know what, though?
Aliens, etc.
I love Snowfall. That's a series that John Singleton created for FX television. And it tells the story about Ricky Ross. Now, you know, there's a rapper called Ricky Ross, but there was a real gangster named Freeway. Yeah, that's my friend, Rick and he's going to do my podcast. Freeway Ricky Ross.
No way.
Yes, and he's already said he's doing the podcast. So he ran crack cocaine syndicate all up and down the 110 freeway in Los Angeles. That's why they called him Freeway Ricky Ross. And it's really his story. And it was, who's that fool? God. I'm trying to think his name. During Nixon era, had a bald head. It wasn't J. Gordon Liddy. It wasn't Liddy. It wasn't J. Gordon Liddy. It was somebody like him.
Was it FBI or?
He was CIA, and they ran operations to fight the Contras. So what they did is brought crack cocaine into our community, gave it to Ricky Ross in exchange for money so they can go back and buy guns to fight the Contras. And then he ends up going to prison for it for the rest of his life, Ricky Ross. And the guy who set it up never did a day. Not a day in jail, and that's how they finally turned it around, and he got back out, and he tells his story everywhere. And Snowfall is based on that, and I absolutely know that is the truth. You want to talk about a conspiracy? You may think of it as a theory, but it ain't no theory. The government is the reason that black people all fucked up with crack cocaine, because it wasn't even no crack then. They just had blow. And he brought all that shit and gave it to our community. They would just give it to the black people, let them just sell it and fuck themselves up, but you bring us back our portion so we can get guns, you know?
CIA, Air America, they called it, I think, or Freedom Air or something like that. It's interesting you mentioned that. We were doing a live show a while back. I can't remember where our talk was. And one of the things that we pointed out when we're talking to people about the war on drugs, which our pal Clayton English refers to as a war on people or a war for control. one thing that really stood out was, look around areas that have been absolutely devastated by crack cocaine and now by fentanyl and hillbilly heroin and stuff like that. There is not a single coca field that they have access to. No. They're not growing it. They're not making AKs out there. There's not a single poppy field out there, So
we don't have
where
the planes.
Did it come from?
We don't have access to planes to bring that shit in here. None of that. But now, if you bring it to us and sit on our doorstep and we think we could chop it up, cook it up, and sell it, what you expect we gonna do? Especially if you put us in a situation where we're impoverished, where society has set us up where we can't get the jobs, we got to fight for stuff, and here's an opportunity to make money that you couldn't even imagine. You got to take a chance, man. You got to roll the dice. In some cases, you got to roll the dice. But I can't wait to talk to Rick Ross on my show about that in detail. But yeah, I think the government had a conspiracy against our society, the black portion of our society, and said, fuck it. Get him this dope. Y'all bring us back this money for the guns, And you could always, in everything, you always follow the money. I don't give a fuck what it is. Follow the money, and you'll see what's going with Trump. Follow the motherfucking money.
Yeah.
You're going to see what's going down.
It's so weird with government money sometimes like that. The things that they refer to as black budgets that are never on books anywhere, right? So you know that the government's asked for $850 billion, but there's $50 billion of that or $150 billion of that nobody ever knows where it went to. Even the people who run the country, right? The people who are in Congress have no idea, which is really just really creepy when you
remember
think
they found this list where the government had paid like $17,000 for a fucking hammer. It was like, what kind of accounting are they doing? Box of screws, $214,000. What?
We're in Iraq. They lost how many billions of dollars, Ben? Do you remember that?
It was a pallet of $1 billion in cash.
In
$3
cash.
billion.
They're like, oh, we can't find it. So
let's pause here for a word from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more Michael Colyar. And we've returned.
So I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I saw this comedian. A younger comedian. He had pulled a little piece that he was doing on stage, and it was a joke that he set up pretty well on. The concept is blackface and how it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Nobody can ever do that. And then he talks about, well, what if you're in special forces and you've got a white guy on your team and you need to put blackface on him? And I thought about Hot Shots Part 2. There's a visual joke in there that's just...
It's wonderful. Yeah, that's such a funny part. And we're all sitting there, everybody putting blackface on their makeup, put on black makeup so they can go and fight in the war. They putting on camouflage, then they pass me the black. And I just look at it.
It's just your face.
Just give him a look.
Matt, that brings up a really good point. What do you think things are off limits in comedy if you do it right and it's funny?
I don't think it should be. I mean, I know people are always worried about being canceled. I don't worry about being canceled because I've never been on. So, so I don't worry about that. But like, people say stuff that is like it's not. They'll accuse you of something that's like, I've been accused of fat shaming for telling this joke. Okay, and I don't think it's fat shaming. Okay, and it was actual happened. This fat lady was on a bike. She was a fat lady. What I'm gonna say? She a fat lady, what you want to call her? A big bone broad? I don't know. She was a fat woman. She was on the bike. She was paddling her ass off. And so I yelled out, cow, right? She turned towards me, gave me the finger, turned back around, and ran right into the fucking cow.
Well, sometimes people might project their own things, I think that's very well written. Sometimes people project their own things. It's true. And I really love, Noel, your question about the idea of boundaries or what can or cannot be addressed. We know that comedy is a tremendously powerful social force. It enables us to speak directly to things that, might get you in some deep water in some other countries or in other contexts. What's that old saying? Only the jester can talk shit to the king. This exploration takes us in a couple of other directions. The idea that now the CIA never officially admitted that they created in large part the epidemic of drug use in the United States. And you point out that there are people who have a lot of evidence against them that have never gotten in trouble. Some of those people very well are alive today. What would you say, what observations do you have about, the idea that there's a shadowy group at the top, right? That there's like an inner circle, dare I say an Illuminati. You hear that all the time, right? Like
There's
so-and-so
something.
secretly runs the world.
I don't
you think
know
there's something?
I don't know if it's the Illuminati, but there's something. There's small cabals of people who have great, great power that we don't even know exists. Even if you just start with the dark web. There's so much stuff going on around our society that we have no access to. And it's not just going on around us, it's going on and happening to us. And we don't even see that kind of stuff because they doing their own little stuff. And if y'all think the government runs the government, y'all crazy as fuck. I can tell you right now, the pharma has more power over this world than anybody. The pharmacies, look, 72% of all commercials is about a medicine. It's about some pharmaceutical shit. Some shit you didn't even know you needed until they told you. So first they tell you, they go create the cure, then they come tell you you got it. Do you have IBS? Irritable bowel syndrome. That's itchy booty syndrome. How come we can't scratch our ass? We used to just scratch our ass. Maybe take a quick wash. But now, your ass can't itch unless you take this pill because it's been drummed into your head. Oh, you got IBS. You don't want that. I'm hearing shit every day that could be going on with your body I never even heard of before. They just make the shit up.
Like halitosis was invented by mouthwash companies.
Yeah,
Totally.
It's just bad breath. And they make the shit up. Now Listerine got $16 billion they made this year.
You're talking about big pharma, though. Let's talk about another community that was impacted by a shadowy group that wasn't even that shadowy. Didn't even try that hard to cover their tracks, like the opioid epidemic, which largely affected impoverished white communities. It's another group that is to some degree left behind and treated like second class.
Underrepresented.
Well, I'm not trying to be like, hey, don't forget about us white people, but it is a thing. There are people that live in certain parts, flyover states or whatever, that are treated in a very similar way to the way the black community was treated, as throwaway. I don't know. I'm interested in your thoughts there. We know Big Pharma did that. We know they did it.
Well, yeah, Big Pharma is just, really, I think the government's scared of Big Pharma. I think everybody's scared of Big Pharma because they got all the money. Once again, follow the money. It all comes to that. We got a pill for it. We gonna fix it. The real pill is life. The real pill is God. The real way to fix something is to understand you're already complete and compact the way you were built. You come with all your accessories. You're already ready to go. But if we're in a society keep teaching you that you need this or you need that for you to be happy, or you have to have this to be happy. You have everything you need already to be happy, man. And the really good stuff don't cost money. It's like the guy was talking to the hooker and he said, do you believe in free love? And she said, yeah, I believe in free love. And they had sex. And when it was over, she said, $50. And he said, $50? I thought you said you believe in free love. He said, I believe in free love. Love was free. The sex was $50. That's all I'm saying. Gotta say. So it's a lot of stuff out there, man. I'm scared to even look. Like, I wouldn't even look on the black web. If you see the kind of stuff that's happening in and around us, you'll be very frightened.
Well, Michael, I want to ask you something. It's a little strange. There's been a whole bunch of mainstream news, including coming from the United States Navy, about this stuff called UAP. We used to know it as UFOs. Have you seen any of that news? Does that interest you at all? The concept of maybe either aliens or some kind of super sophisticated
technology,
military
whatever.
tech?
Mm-hmm.
No, I do believe that there's UFOs. I do believe that there's aliens. I do believe that there's something out there greater than us. I pray that there is something smarter than humans. Please, Jesus, please. So I really think, I'm still trying to figure out, although black people, and I'm sorry y'all white, because y'all might won't agree with that, but black people to me are the greatest people in the whole wide world. And since the beginning of time, they've been building shit. But I still haven't figured out how we built the pyramids. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I think we had help from aliens on that one. But also because of all the mathematical equations that made the building of them. It's the building of the pyramids is set up to fix astrology, to align up with the stars and with the universe. I just don't know way back then that we were thinking on those levels on Earth.
I don't know, man, because they didn't have TV sucking up their attention. They didn't have, they had much more focus, much more connected with the natural world.
Yeah.
Yeah, Def Jam would have improved most eras of history. I agree there. This is where, I think we play, maybe this is how we start to end the show. We want to save the hook, right? As you were telling us earlier.
We're ready to end the show. What the fuck is he talking about?
Oh,
we've been talking 10 minutes. How long is this show?
you say that. You say that, sir. It's actually been almost a solid.
He's gonna get.
It's almost been an hour.
You're gonna get off. You're gonna get off the episode. First thing you're gonna do, talk to Malika and say, "God, those guys just don't shut up."
Y'all don't talk enough. I did all the
so
talking.
much to that's what we like. We like asking you questions. We like getting your perspective. All of this stuff is stuff we think about every day, and it's really cool to have people involved in the conversation that don't have some axe to grind, don't have some agenda. You would just people that have feelings and experience life and observations. Yeah. So that's what interests us.
So,
I have a quick one, Ben, before you want to end it. Do you want to end it with this one?
Well, I wanted to do conspiracy quiz.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, so I think we missed it with aliens, but we've got the take there. So the way we play this game, Michael, is we will just kind of rapid fire. We'll ask you just a bare bones, a basic couple conspiracy theories, and you let us know whether you buy them all the way, whether you think it's, absolute hogwash or something might be true about it. So let's start with one of the famous ones, staying on aliens, staying on extraterrestrials. Do you think the U.S. government or any other world government actually found a piece of a spaceship, a UFO?
Yeah, we got them here. Definitely.
That's a yes.
Guarantee you that they got them. The Area 51, that shit is real. And I'm going to tell you, out here in California, I see mountains that I swear there's activity in those mountains. When I come down to 14, because I'm right off the 14 freeway, which is in Palmdale, near Lancaster. So the what's name is near us. The stealth bomber is maybe 4 miles from my house. And sometimes you can hear what sounds like the earth is moving. You just hear, you don't know what the hell it is, and it'll just be dark and go past. So I think that they got a bunch of stuff in the mountains here. I think they have underground stuff, and I definitely think that aliens have been here and got trapped here. I don't think any aliens came here and lived, except the ones that are living and playing like they're humans. But I think that we have had alien activity here. I think alien vehicle parts are somewhere here to be found. Yes, absolutely.
Michael, did you see the film Nope?
No. Nope.
Oh, watch you some Nope. Watch you Nope. It's a real good description of kind of what you're describing. It's a good dramatization in a really wonderfully paced, funny yet intense science fiction film, from Jordan Peele, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's all about what's going on above ground, in the clouds or in the mountains, and what does that feel?
I'm going to watch it now.
I think you'd get a kick out of it.
Because you said all of that. I'm going to watch it now. I hadn't had a chance to see it, but I'm going to take time to watch it. I love all the people involved in it.
Very interesting film.
Let's go to another one. Let's do one or two more. What do you guys think?
What you got?
Conspiracy quiz with Michael Colyar.
I'm trying to see why y'all running. Shit, I thought we did.
Who's running?
Who's going?
I've got one for you. Have you ever heard anyone talking about fluoride in the water?
I'm not sure. No, except for what?
Oh, okay.
I know chlorine in the water, but I don't know about fluoride in the water. What's that?
Okay, all right.
A little bit about the whole concept of the theory, yeah.
Well, there is fluoride in most of America's public drinking water sources, and it goes back a long time ago when it was decided that there needs to be a couple of different chemicals in the water to clean it just a little bit as it goes through the processing plants, right? The waste
but
processing.
But they didn't have any for Flint, Michigan? All right, go ahead.
See now.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, let's talk about Flint.
We should get to that. But Matt, isn't the idea also that it's good for your teeth, but it's also something that some people have issues with? Is it, or is it something else? Is it what's it actually for?
Calcifying pineal glands.
Well, it's
or pituitary glands.
The scientific theory behind it and the reasoning behind it is that consuming fluoride does strengthen teeth, but teeth strengthening is when fluoride's applied directly to your teeth. And how often are you just swishing water around all the time, except for if you're washing your mouth out, right? Right. The concept is if you ingest enough of that fluoride, it potentially has some subduing of the mind effects, because it was used by several groups, including the Nazis, to subdue people in the past. That's true.
But are you supposed to ingest it though? Are you supposed to drink it?
Well,
No.
I mean, they say it's fine.
That's like toothpaste. If you brush your teeth with toothpaste, you're not supposed to swallow
You're not
that
supposed
shit
to
because
swallow
you know
it,
what's
no.
in it. You're supposed to rinse and spit it out.
But Matt and Ben, wouldn't the government say that the amount that's in the water supply, which is acknowledged, is safe to consume?
Yeah,
of course.
Basically,
Yes.
you'd have to be consistently drinking water and peeing it out all day
I
long,
don't
and you'd
believe
probably die
anything
of
the government
that.
says. I just want to say
Okay.
that.
All right.
Okay,
I'll
end
keep
of
a list
episode.
of these.
End of episode.
Yeah,
Okay,
'cause I
good.
know it's bullshit if they said it. They said it. Oh fuck, let's do the opposite.
We're
I'm
seeing
sorry.
a lot of I think we're speaking a lot of the same languages here. The idea of self-reliance is very important to us. The concept of maybe we shouldn't automatically trust people in power, right? Let's see another
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. But I just think that we as a people, we fought, everybody, black and white, even though we still fight each other as black and white. Those of us who are here, both black and white, fought to have the kind of country where people do have decency, where there is an order, there's a hierarchy, and there's an understanding of the direction we're going, and we're supposed to all work towards that. That is the understanding. This guy came into a system that's called politics and said, well, let's get rid of the politicians. That's like the lifeguard going down and saying, hey, let's get rid of everybody who can swim. All the people who can swim, fuck right from here. Let's get some non-swimmers. It's goddamn pool. You expect people to swim. It's politics. You expect people to be political in the world of politics. And so what we got is someone who's the opposite of politics. And you think, can anything be worse than politics? Yes, the opposite of it, which is called Trump. In fact, you see right here, I got me some Trump toilet tissue. I can tell you, there is nothing more joyful than wiping your ass with a couple of sheets of this Trump tissue. However, it's kind of rough.
I want to say something
rough.
though. I want to say something in his defense. He has been an amazing statesman and a great politician for Russia.
Yeah.
They're loving him, but
He's got their
wrong.
best interest. But I would argue, though, you say, the opposite of politics, what's worse than it's Trump. I would argue the opposite of politics is complete chaos and no organization. So it's like they always say that, what is it? Democracy is the worst system of government except for all the other ones,
Winston Churchill.
We're all doing our best to abide by a system where we can exist and not murder each other. It's not working super great.
Can we
see
just
other countries.
coexist? That's the thing.
We can't though. Not just based on decorum. Not just based on
you
everyone
give us our
following the
reparations,
rules.
God damn it.
Well,
I'm
that's
sorry.
part of-
That's a
I mean,
different
that's
show.
a-
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
man,
but that's
40 acres? Get
Yeah.
40 acres out in San Francisco. Don't let them stick you with some
I get to
bullshit
pick where my 40
out in
acres are?
Out
Yeah.
in North Dakota.
Well, your doctor, Dr. Phil, just came out and said that if they took $12 trillion, they could pay off all the black descendants of slaves. It's like $350,000 each. But then he turned right back around and said, but you can't get that kind of money to black people unless you show them how
What?
to use money. And I'm
Dr.
like,
Phil?
excuse me, fucker? Yeah, it's out right now. He said, we first need to have to train them. We need to train them how to properly use money. Otherwise, and these are his words, it would be disastrous. So you saying you can't give me the money you owe me unless I use it the way you think is the proper way to use it. If I take that shit and bury it in the backyard, it's my shit. You should just give me what's mine and don't say I can only have it under a certain condition. Reparations mean repairing something that you understand you have broken, and the breaker is supposed to fix it. And they fixed that with the American Indian. They gave them all, them casinos, them boys are rolling. They did it with the Japanese in internment camps. They gave white folks money to make up for the slaves they lost when they had to release the slaves. And nobody asked any of those people what they gonna do when they get the money. They just say, here your stuff, go and have a good day. So Dr. Phil can kiss my buttock, the darkest recesses. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
See, I wish I was taught how to handle money, because when I started my first job and knew how to do things, I had no idea what to do with money. I have no idea. I feel like that's a thing that just comes with time, or you've got some kind of teacher that has money that shows you how it works. I'm just saying, like, I wish our public schools would teach everybody just what to do.
It's not a flaw. It's a design. The public school system is designed to create temperate factory workers. That's how it came about.
And docile. And easily controllable.
That's cold-blooded right
Follow
there.
directions.
That's why there's not financial literacy classes, right? The closest a lot of people got was something like home economics. Yeah.
And I miss home ec. They took that away. Now I don't know how to cook or iron.
Can we end with one conspiracy?
I had one too, but
okay.
We'll just have Mr. Colyar back.
Can I just quickly add too, sex ed was controversial because they don't want people to have safe sex. They want them to have too many goddamn kids so that they're poor forever.
Controversial. They don't want to talk about it at all, or it's a controversy. Go ahead. You both had one. We can squeeze them in. Come on. Matt, what's your theory?
Okay,
Matt?
well, my conspiracy is, it's the year, I think it's probably 1999 when you found out. I have a feeling it wasn't 2000. But when you found out that there was a thing called the Original Kings of Comedy Tour happening, and you weren't a part of it, where were you and how did you find out?
First of all, I don't even understand how they had a show called The Kings of Comedy without the king. Let's just start with that. I was right there at the time, but I wasn't invited. You know, it was Steve's idea. And the truth of the matter is, he did invite me at one point. And then 2 weeks later, I tried to reach him and never heard from him again. But it was right around the time that he had lost his first manager, who we all loved, named Juan Hall. And Juan Hall had died. So I guess the new team came in and helped him change his mind. I was almost on that, but no, it didn't happen. It's just a lot of the things like that I haven't. Shaq went out and did the Shaq comedy tours. I wrote Shaq. Shaq had 37 comedians. I said, it ain't 37 motherfuckers on this planet that's funnier than me. It might be 32, 33, but 37? What a nigga got to do to get on Shaq's comedy thing? So I don't know. And when you had asked before,
also, when did Shaq become the arbiter for what's funny? Just putting that out there.
Because he's so funny. His goofy ass. Let me tell you something. He is doing commercials for everything. He lost me last week though when he did that commercial for Tampax. I said, I am done. Shaq for Tampax. I'm like,
now watch out, Shaq. Shaq's a big deal here in our fair metropolis of Atlanta, man. He runs the Krispy Kremes. That's true.
It's true.
I am a Shaq fan, though. Don't get it twisted. I'm a Shaq fan.
You like how we all walked it back? Yeah,
we all walked it back.
but so, okay, here's, I almost want to save this one. We'll see if it works. But the last one I wanted to ask that it's kind of something we talk about a lot. And a lot of people privately believe in something like this. So wanted to ask you, between just you, millions of listeners, and the NSA and us, do you believe in psychic powers?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know people who are brilliant at it as well. No, absolutely. I'm in that whole thing. That's my thing right there. I'm with all of that. Everything that deals with the spiritual, with the energy of connecting on a spiritual plane, on astral travel, all that kind. I absolutely believe in it. And I've done mushrooms, so I have traveled. You know, I mean, if you understand what hallucinogenic mushrooms are about, I have taken a hero's dose. You know what that is? A hero's dose is like 10 or more grams. I have taken them enough where I could literally fold space. There's a movie called Dune.
Oh, I know it.
Not the new version, though. The original one from the real Lynch. Herbert, from the real book. And in Dune, they're all looking for the spice melange. It gives you the ability to fold space, to go anywhere in the universe without moving. That's what mushrooms are. And man, I've sat down and had conversations with my father, who died when I was 12. And I've sat and had conversations with him like he was here right now. So I believe in all that type of stuff. Oh, absolutely. That stuff is very, very real. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it can be taught?
No. I don't think it. I think that's something you have or you don't have. I don't think that could be taught. I have a great teacher of spirituality named Miraculi. Pull him up. Astarius Miraculi is a bad boy. And he can read his reading, 98% accurate. He does didgeridoo wielding. He does energy wielding. He does a thing called, what's that thing that everybody else is doing right? Reiki Om. He does all of those modalities, and he's king at that stuff. And I absolutely believe him. Absolutely believe the stuff he's saying, and a lot of it has healed my life, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, this is something where we're at the point where I know we've opened several doors, not just the doors of perception, but the doors to future conversation. Mr. Colyar, the time has flown by. What if time is more than a construct, right?
Yes.
Maybe we'll be on mushrooms next time we record. We've got to ask. Yeah, we got to ask people, where's Noel shooting the thumbs up? We got to woo. So where can folks learn more about your work? Where can they listen to Michael Talks to Errbody? Where can they follow you online?
Thank you for asking that very important and pertinent question. Okay, y'all can find me anywhere. First of all, I do the most amazing show in the whole wide world for me right now, which is now Michael Talks to Errbody, because I'm doing that. And it's not everybody, it's Air, Errbody, Errbody. My first guest was T.S. Madison. She had a show on We Network, and she's just a brilliant. We had raw, real people on my show. We had Earthquake, Come Turn It Out. We had T.I. I got to tease him about him getting booed off stage, but he turned that around. He was doing comedy, he got booed, now he figured it out. And he's selling out places doing comedy. But his booing wasn't nothing compared to J.B. Smoove. Oh my God, I love J.B. Smoove, but they booed him so hard. In Atlanta, I could hear the shit in the plane. I was flying over here. Boo, nigga. And
Wait, why are they booing J.B. Smoove? We love J.B. Smoove here.
I love J.B. Smoove, but sometimes you have to have the right material for the right audience. The incorrect presentation can throw you off. And I think in his case, he was in the wrong place in the line of comedians, because when you go up, you're good, then better, then better, then better, then better. So it has to roll. And I think he went behind somebody else who's high energy. I think he followed somebody who's the guy has his own show? Ricky Smiley, because Ricky Smiley was killing. The audience was screaming, and then I think JB just came out with some laid back, smooth comedy. They wasn't ready for it, you know. So on the show we've had, I think the smartest black man I've talked to so far, who is Hill Harper. I don't even know how he get that big brain in that little bitty head. We did a show called Is Church Relevant? But I did it with 3 of my heathen friends, so I felt like that wasn't quite kosher. So we went back and did part 2, and we brought in Yolanda Adams and Bishop Vance Ode. So we have people from the church that represent. So we talk to everybody about everything. It's off the chain. And all you have to do is go to iHeart or wherever you get your podcast and put in Michael Talks to Errbody. That's one way to follow me. I have a morning show 5 days a week on YouTube, Michael Colyar Morning Show. I'm on Tubi. I got 2 films on Tubi. I got 2 films I just put in the can. Oh man, I just shot a movie where I played Jack Hayes' husband, Tashina Arnold's daddy, Tommy Davidson is the minister, and the lady who played Cedric's girlfriend on Steve Harvey's show, Terry J. Vaughn directed it. It's called Soulfly Crystals, and when I tell you, it is amazing. You know, plus my comedy album is out, everybody. It's on all streaming services. It's a picture of me sitting on a toilet. It's called Let Me Drop This On You. Yeah, let me drop this on you. And then I'm dropping 2 books. And this last thing, I got 2 books. I have a children's book called Little Bobby White, which is about a little black boy who always wins because he always chooses to do the right thing. You know, so we're supposed to get to a point in our lives where we can't choose between right and wrong. If we know the difference between right and wrong, that's the children's book. So the difference.
No, I'm saying, but you also have that book.
I also have that one. That's the next one. But this is the children's book. No, the children's book is just about doing right.
But no, the erotic poetry. Right?
The erotic book is called In the Wet Spot, Blue Erotica by MC Butternuts. And it's going to kill. It's an audio book. I already did it on the Breakfast Club. I did 1 point from it. People went crazy. I did it on 85 South. People went crazy. So that's coming out in like about 2 months. And I'm hireable. Yes, I do weddings, divorces, Passover, hangover. I do a party in the phone booth if you promise to call. I take green stamp, food stamp, Canadian money. I take your bus transfer if it's got some time left on it. I don't know what y'all talking about. We doing it around here. So,
Michael, thank you so much for being with us. This was a delight. And
thank y'all.
yeah.
Oh, and he got bells. Uh-oh. Come on, somebody. Woo, woo, woo.
Where's
That's
the
all
chicken, though?
Oh,
Where's
come
the
on.
chicken?
Please don't get me started on the chicken.
That's nightmare fuel. That sound. I hear it in my yeah.
Let me tell you, I be having these chickens, and now I be on stage with them, and people want the chicken. I had the little one. And the guy
Merchandising.
This guy comes to me, and he in the audience, he said, I'll give you $20 for that chicken. I said, well, give me the money. So he walked up the stage, he said, wait a minute, baby, give me some more money. We're going to give him 30. She said, Daddy, give him 40. So they gave me 40 for the chicken. And he turned around, walked back to the table, and I went up to the microphone. I said, I paid $4.86 for that chicken. And they it was just great. Yeah, this chicken is very popular. Y'all gonna be hearing about this chicken all over the world. So
there's a TikTok or a YouTube video where someone took like 50 of those and squeezed them all at the same time. That sound will haunt your nightmares, I tell you. All at the same time.
Somebody made one that plays music too. They got chickens with different pitches and rolled over them.
Well,
the internet is wild.
Some sucker tried to trick me and gave me a duck. That is not no chicken. Get out of here.
For the discriminating customer. Well, folks, again, as you said, Matt, Mr. Colyar, thank you so much for being so generous with your time today. The show is Michael Talks to Errbody. Full disclosure, I've been on there once. Matt and Noel may end up being on there. I'd love to.
In fact,
thank you so much.
All three of y'all should come on the morning together, and let's just have fun and chop it up. I would love that so much,
We'd thank you for the invitation. We'd love to. I know.
I am honored to have been here. This was so much fun. God bless y'all real good, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm in love, everybody. Her name is Sonia, and she soon will be Sonia Colyar. We got engaged December 27th.
You heard it here
She's
first.
amazing.
Yeah,
God bless y'all. Thank you so much. Have an amazing
We want to come
day.
hang with you in Venice Beach.
You
Get
got
a
it.
little
Yeah,
treatment.
Wait until you see us
seriously.
shoot this special this summer. It's going to blow your mind, and I'm giving the money to the homeless. It's going to be
That's
very
incredible.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
God
Watch
bless
out.
you
We'll
guys.
come through.
Thank
kind
you.
of a
I
drifter.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Call me anytime. Bye now.
What a ride. We could have done that for easily a couple more hours, right?
It's like riding on a jet ski, on a surfboard, on a raging bull of some. I mean, it was just all the kinds of rides, like packed into one. What a delight! What a cool human with a wealth of experience and interesting perspective. Man, that was awesome.
It's almost like Michael spent years and years and years performing every day for giant audiences somewhere.
You can't fake that kind of timing, man. You just can't do it. That was wonderful.
Mr. C is indeed a very genuine person, great guy, and we're not blowing smoke, folks. When we have people on our show, we're respectful of your time as well. So we only have people on if we think it's going to be a worthwhile conversation, exploration. Do check him out. Everything Matt said this is where we also learned Matt is a huge Hot Shots Part 2 fan.
Sorry about that. And look, it meant a lot to me in my life, I guess, around the time. I was only 10 when it came out, so I don't think I saw it like immediately. I must have been a little older when I finally found it, but wow.
I think I remember renting it from the video store. 'Cause I do remember it coming out in theaters because speaking of chickens, isn't he like he's
yes,
shooting
the
a
bow and
rubber
arrow?
chicken out of his bow and arrow and it's like on fire and it's obviously Charlie. I meant to follow up. Like, did Charlie Sheen just discover him on Venice Beach and that's how he got the gig? Like, I wanted to hear that story, but we went so many places we could have gone. Oh, the places you'll go when you talk to Michael Colyar. That was awesome.
And who knew he was a fellow psychonaut? Folks, we want to hear some of your thoughts regarding this. Now, I think we're fans of playing the conspiracy quiz game. We also want to hear, of course, your ideas, your suggestions for future episodes, things you think your fellow conspiracy realist would enjoy. It's hopefully very easy to find us. You can say our name 3 times in a mirror in the dark, or you could just go online. Either or.
I recommend the latter, but the first one's fun too, and there can be interesting side effects. But if you want to find us online, you can do so. We are Conspiracy Stuff. That is our handle on Facebook, or we have our Facebook group. Here's where it gets crazy. We're also Conspiracy Stuff on YouTube. Lots of new content popping off there just about every week. And also Twitter, you can find us at Conspiracy Stuff. We're Conspiracy Stuff Show, on the other hand, on Instagram and TikTok.
If you'd like to call us and use your words, you may. Our number is 1-833-STDWYTK. It's a voicemail system. You've got 3 minutes. Please do give yourself a cool nickname and let us know if we can use your name and message on one of our listener mail episodes. If you don't like using your phone, that's okay too. You can still contact us with a good old-fashioned email. We are
conspiracy@iHeartRadio.com.
Stuff They Don't Want You to Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.